Station records list human refugee Ellis Boone as biologically unremarkable. Male, advanced age, arthritic knees, partial hearing loss in the left ear. The records do not explain why 300 displaced refugees stopped fighting every 7th cycle to sit quietly at long tables beneath failing kitchen lights. The first recovered image only shows steam rising beside an old pair of reading glasses. Someone had taped a stained paper card onto the station's ration synthesizer using silver repair tape. The card was handwritten, ink faded brown at the corners. Sunday dinner. Start with onions first. No translator could initially determine why the onions mattered. That misunderstanding lasted longer than the riots. The agricultural moon Belvane froze during the second winter after the empire collapsed. Supply chains failed. Refugee ships docked faster than processing crews could count them. Former enemy species were stacked into habitation corridors, separated by thin plastic dividers and old cargo curtains. Food existed. Community did not. Official incident reports from that period describe knife fights over seating areas, assaults during ration distribution, and one incident involving boiling oil near ventilation shaft C. Then the old human asked for a kitchen, not a command center, not medical authority, not security clearance. A kitchen. Administrator Pell received multiple complaints within 2 days. The human was wasting protein allotments. The human was ignoring efficiency guidelines. The human was slowing food output because he refused to use full automation. One report notes, the elderly human insists ingredients must be cut unevenly so they cook honest. Nobody knew what that meant. I still don't. Recovered audio transcript. Sit down. Your species is not authorized near us. Then sit farther apart. Food still tastes the same. You expect cooperation? No. I expect chewing. Sound detected. Ceramic plate impact. Small laughter. Unidentified source. Ventilation hum increasing. Human Ellis Boone speaking again. Sunday back home meant everybody showed up whether they liked each other or not. The station did not use Earth calendars. The old man did anyway. Every 7th cycle he closed half the kitchen and dragged tables together himself. Slowly, one careful scrape at a time across the floor panels. One witness remembered he carried a folded yellow cloth in his pocket to hold hot trays because station gloves were slippery nonsense. Food synthesizers produced exact nutrition, exact temperature, exact chemical balance, exact caloric precision. People still stopped eating. Medical reports show declining intake across several refugee populations despite stable supply, especially children, especially isolated adults, especially widowers. The old human changed the kitchen sequence manually. Onions first, then butter, then broth later after the smell reached the hallway. This part matters. Species that previously avoided communal spaces began arriving before meal periods, not for food quantity, for anticipation, for smell, for memory. One alien survivor described standing outside the kitchen because the scent reminded her of heated river grain from a homeland already gone. Another refugee admitted he stayed because the old human always made too much and pretended not to notice second portions disappearing. Station conflict incidents dropped sharply within 4 cycles. Nobody connected it to the dinners at first. Administrators credited increased patrol presence, security barriers, behavioral fatigue. The reports were wrong. Emergency outage, habitat ring temperatures falling, main kitchen systems offline. Security teams expected panic. Instead, witnesses reported refugees carrying candles, portable heaters, cracked lanterns, and old camp stoves toward Community Kitchen B, toward the human, toward the tables. The old man was already there. One survivor said he looked irritated more than frightened. Apparently, the outage interrupted his potatoes. A child asked whether dinner was canceled. The old man answered, "Kid, if people stop gathering when things get bad, that's when bad wins." There are moments historians expect to sound heroic. This one sounded tired, human, real. He assigned tasks before security officers could organize evacuation flow. "You, stir this. You, bring chairs. You two quit glaring and carry water." People obeyed him because the kitchen already had rules. Rituals. Rhythm. The station had forgotten what rhythm does to frighten minds. Recovered item from Kitchen B archives. Paper card dimensions recorded. Grease damage along lower edge. Handwritten note added later in different ink. Leave one seat empty in case somebody arrives late. Investigators originally believed this referenced supply rotation protocol. Years later, former refugees clarified the meaning. The empty chair was for the dead, or the missing, or whoever had not made it yet. Nobody discussed it openly. The chair simply remained there every 7th cycle. One bowl, one plate, one folded napkin. I interviewed a former station medic during reconstruction hearings. She cried before answering my question and kept apologizing for it. She said the first time she saw enemy species passing bread across that empty chair, she realized the war was probably over already, not politically, spiritually. The last surviving image from Kitchen B was captured after evacuation. The room is empty except for cooling trays and overturned chairs. Outside the station windows, transport ships burn quietly against the dark. On the center table rests a stained recipe card beneath an old pair of reading glasses. Someone has added one final handwritten line underneath the instructions. Enough for everybody. The plate at the empty chair is still warm.